just wanted to add one thing. Yeah. So today we are going ahead with this one. Okay. So today's topic is SCD Type 2 in SQL. So last class also, sorry, what's your good name? I forgot your name. Is it Vivekanand? No, what was your name? Hi.
Yes,
Yeah,
Vivekanand.
Vivekanand. Okay, okay. So no problem. So there were few things which we already covered. That was SCD types also, but I'm still going to include it in today's topic. So first thing that we need to understand. Okay, so there were few doubts from other candidates, like where is actually it is. Like for example, just you can see here this one. So SCD comes under data modeling and warehousing. Okay, so data modeling and warehousing in one of the topic that data engineers and analytics engineer they learn as a part of their course. Okay, so these data modeling and warehousing is a huge topic, out of which we are only covering few things. So if you know, we have covered normalization, we have covered schema design as well, and denormalization not covered, but these things are not covered, but SCD comes under data warehousing and data modeling. Okay. So the first thing, just a minute, let me check if it's recording or not. Yeah. So the first thing that we are going to understand is where actually is slowly changing dimensions comes under. So the first thing, let's check here. So first of all, we need to understand that we are talking about data warehousing. Okay, and inside this data warehousing we have two kinds of data. Okay, we are talking very broadly for someone who do not know what is SCD and where is actually this topics comes under. So we have two kinds of data. The first data that we say is what has happened, and the second is when happened, where happened. Okay, what has happened, and so on and so forth. So these are two kinds of data. So when we talk about what has happened, let's talk about the context of e-commerce again, because this is the context that we have used so far in our SQL sessions. So here what happened means, let's say for example in e-commerce we can say an order is placed. Okay, so this we know, this is an event here, right? This is an event here that has happened. So we can say what has happened means an order is placed. When it means it tells you order date, right? It tells you where it has happened. It means it is the city. It can be city or place, or it can be what kind of platform it is. For example, we can say it was placed via mobile or web. Okay, can we say like that, right? And what has happened means you can say that the order has been placed of which product. The product can be, let's say, laptop. And who has placed? Customer has placed. Okay, so customer. So let's check here an example which I'll tell you. So let's say we are pointing to order DB. This is the table that we were using during our SQL sessions. So let's check only one record here. Let's specifically see what is happening. So first record tells you that yes, there was an order placed, and order is placed by the customer 5,000. Order amount is 1,000. When was it placed? So order date we already know, and the place. Okay, so the order placed from is mobile. So can we say that we are getting information from this single record, right? So the single record is telling me many information. Okay, it means that order is placed is telling me some event that has happened. It also tells me the measurements, or we can say some business, you can say event. It means that something has happened. It has many measurements and quantities. Okay, this is this type of data. However, this data this specific data is of no use if we do not know what is this customer ID, what is this date pointing to, and what is this place pointing to, right? It means that this data is actually depending on this, right? So we say that these are the facts. So we say these are the facts. One second. Did someone join? Okay. Okay. So it means that we can say these are the facts and these are dimensions. Dimensions means what? Something which is almost fixed. Almost fixed. Can we say that every time we get an order, we say there is some event that has happened, right? However, these order date, city, place, and laptop doesn't change very frequently. True? It means that we say here these are the facts and these are the dimensions. This is the data which change very fast or fast changing. Can we say? Because in the orders table, if you note, we get data very frequently. So let's say, for example, now we have around 23 records. Within few minutes, we'll say it is 50 records. So can we say the data is changing very fast? So the fast changing data are coming under facts. Whereas the slow changing data, for example, slow can be very slow and then it can be specific to details as well. For example, sorry, let's specifically talk about customers here. So the customer, once the customer has created his account in e-commerce, I'm telling you. So does the email change very frequently? No. Does the phone number change very frequently? No. Does the address change very frequently? No. So it means that can we say the dimensions which are dependent on facts, sorry, the facts are dependent on dimensions, not the other way. So the dimensions are actually slow changing. Can we say like that? Right? There are possibility that it will change maybe weekly, right? Or monthly, sometime yearly also, but not every day, right? So the frequency with which this data is changing is very slow, right? So that is the reason we say this is slow changing data. It means dimensions are called slow changing data. So in data warehousing, you'll come to know two things. One are facts tables. So example of these are orders table, right? We can say like this, where the orders are being placed frequently, and dimensions are those which are not that frequently changing. For example, my customers table, my products table. So let's say I have uploaded some products. The same product is not changing, like let's say at least for a week, right? So these are slow changing. Then we have what? Maybe the pin code or the address table, right? The address table is not changing very frequently. Hence, we can say that these are dimension tables and then they are slow changing. Okay, I hope it's clear. And the facts are fast changing. Okay, so far it's clear, right? Okay, now let's come to the topic that we are going to discuss today, SCD. So SCD stands for slow changing dimensions. Okay. Slow changing dimensions mean dimensions is the one that we just understood are the tables which are changing slowly compared to facts table. Okay. So now let's first understand why we are talking about SCD. So SCD is actually a concept that is being introduced to handle what? Slow changing dimensions. It means just changes of dimensions table. right? So our task is to handle the changes which are happening in the dimensions table, which are very slow. Okay. Whereas when we talk about fast changing dimensions, we have many ways of doing this. What we I think we did discuss, it was archival and something like that, right? Okay. So here we are not talking about fast changing dimensions, so we are not talking about the facts table, we are not talking about this, we are majorly focusing today on this one. Okay, so we need to see how can I handle the changes in the dimensions table. Okay, so let's see the slides here. Okay, okay, so here, why do we need to talk to track the history? Okay, so why we have to handle a slow changing dimension is that, let's say someone from the analytics team wants us to know few facts which we do not have in our history at all, then we need to handle something. For example, a customer who has changed the city after 3 years. So let's say there is one customer. Okay, there's customer one. So let's say customer sorry. Okay, so there is customer one here. Okay, this person placed first order in 2010. Let's say, for example, that time he was in maybe Nagpur. And then this person moved to 2013, he moved to Pune. And from after 2013, he moved to Bangalore in 2020. Okay, so now it means that these are very slow changing data. Hence, now we need to decide, if someone is asking me, what was this, where was the, or you can say, what was the place of John when he placed his first order? Where was he residing? So, this information we need to save somewhere or some way, so that we are able to answer to our business team, right? So analytics can be anything. So that is the reason we handle these things in OLAP applications. So OLAP is something we discussed last class. So it's majorly applications where analytics plays a vital role. Okay. So now here, though this information is slow changing, we need to have a history of this data as well. That is the reason we need to now look into SCD topic, and we need to find a way to handle this history. How to handle this history, that we need to check. Okay, so facts and dimension tables, very broad level, we have understood what is that. We haven't got deeper into that. So we'll check this later, not an issue. So majorly we are talking about here dimensions table today. We are not talking about facts table. So we have to only handle the changes that is happening in these tables. Now we have some ways of handling this. So we call it, there are types of SCD. Okay. So SCD, there are many types. We have 0 to 6, but for now we are only going to understand SCD 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so these are the types that we are going to understand today. So let's first understand what is happening. So let's see here. So in SCD type 0, what happens? Let's say, for example, let's again focus on this person. This is a customer ID. Okay, this customer is in city Mumbai initially. Okay, then this person, same person, John, moved to Bangalore. Okay, so now I need to make sure that I have the latest information along with the history. Okay, so now what I'll be doing, I'll see how can I have the history. So let's say if I am using SCD type 0, it means that I cannot do any modification. So the value that is set for the city column is forever. We are not doing any changes. So though this person has moved to Bangalore, we are not doing any changes here. Okay. Okay. So now, one second. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we do when we are using SCD type 0, we do not do any changes. So whatever is the changes, which will be, wait, let's, okay. So whatever is the changes, we do not do any modification here. Okay. So now let's understand what we do when we have SCD type 1. So in SCD type 1, what we do is simply override. So let's say if this person is from moved to Bangalore from Mumbai. So initially it was Mumbai, then he moved to Bangalore. Now what we'll do, we'll simply update that column without keeping this value anywhere in the history. So we do not have this information at all. So this Mumbai is almost lost. So we do not have this information at all. So this is what we have done in our whole SQL course when we were learning from Coding Superstar, right? So we simply used to just update the column without keeping any history, right? This was what we did and what we learned in our course. But now, when we are talking about ETL, we are not going to go ahead with SCD type 1. We are going to go ahead with SCD type 2. So SCD type 2 is what? We need to have a history here. So insert a new record and preserve everything. It means what? We will have multiple records for the same customer. Okay, so initially this John was staying in Mumbai, and then this person moved to Bangalore. It means I'm inserting one more record. Okay, so one more record will be inserted, and then I'll have this Mumbai as well. So the only difference is, okay, there are three things by which we actually implement SCD2. So SCD2 is actually handled using a surrogate key, that is this one. Can you see this key, right? So I'm adding an extra key, and then the second thing is I'm using dates column, that is valid from and to. It means this John person was staying in Mumbai from 22 till, okay, so initially it was like this, and then he moved to Bangalore in June of 23. So it means this person John was in Mumbai from this duration to this duration, and then in Bangalore he moved on June of 23rd, and then is still there. Okay, so validity is this much. It means we do not have any exact date for that. Okay, so when we have to implement SCD2, we need to actually use three things: surrogate key, valid from and to dates. Okay, there are many ways of handling the dates. So there are specifically, I would say, 8 ways by which you can handle the dates in SCD2. We'll not talk about that too much. And then we have to use a flag, okay, which will tell us which one is the active column. So this shows that this is a history column and this is an active column. Yeah, I hope it's clear so far. No doubt, right? Okay. Now, SCD.
But these things happens. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
So these things happens only in OLAP databases, right? It is not the case in
Uh,
OLTP database.
there are other ways of implementing the same thing depending on which table you are handling. Usually in OLAP we do this kind of SCD type 2, but there are other ways of handling in different OLTP as well. Yeah. So majorly we use this in
Okay,
OLAP
okay.
only.
But
Okay.
right now, what we are
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And one more thing I would like to mention. Okay, let's talk about this one first. So SCD type 3 is what? We add a column and keep one prior value. So kindly note we can only have one prior value. So it means that initially John was in Mumbai. So what we do, we actually create another column, a previous city like that for a column. For example, city here. we have previous city and city. It means for the first record, we have null value here, right? When John moves when John moves from Mumbai to Bangalore, so you can see the previous city is now having Mumbai as the value and Bangalore as the current value. However, there is limitation to this because, see, the thing is, one table can have 10 columns, right? So it means I cannot have 20 columns just to handle this type 3. It means every column will not have two replicas of it. And then we have a limitation. This is the first limitation. The second limitation is we cannot keep more than two values. So let's say after Bangalore, this person moves to Chennai, then I do not have any information about the Mumbai. It means Mumbai will be overwritten and Bangalore comes here and here comes the Chennai. So this is limitation of it. Okay, so one more thing I would like to mention here. So a major confusion is which stage we use this SCD. Okay, so we are learning that ETL process, right? So first let's understand where do we use SCD and then we'll go back. So first is what we do usually. We have a source, right? In ETL process, we have a source like files from where we are getting the data, APIs, etc. True. And from there, then we move to raw stage, right? Raw tables. This is what we understood, right? And we call it a bronze layer. I hope you remember. We all discussed this one. This is a part of medallion.
Metadata.
No, not metadata. Medallion. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So this is called bronze layer. It means very initial layer where we are just copying the information from files to raw. We haven't done any deduplication or cleaning, anything like that, right? Then we
सॉरी दिव्या, मैं डिस्टर्ब कर रही हूँ एक्चुअली ना। ये
हाँ,
रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं हो सकती क्या इसका?
रिकॉर्डिंग तो चल रही है।
हाँ क्या?
हाँ, रिकॉर्डिंग तो हो रही है। लेट मी चेक अगेन। या इट्स रिकॉर्डिंग,
ओके
रिकॉर्डिंग है।
फाइन।
ठीक है। Okay. So yeah, so after then what happens, from the raw layer, bronze layer, we come to silver layer. Silver layer is what? Hmm. Silver layer is staging, right? What was staging was happening? The clean data, right? The clean data, the clean information, all the data which is cleaned, and we have done the deduplication as well. From there we go to the gold layer, which is called the final tables. Final tables थे, right? यहाँ पे. Now after then we come back to consumption. Okay, so here what happens is we are consuming this data. So how we are consuming? Either we are using any BI tools or ML models or anything like that, where we are passing this information. So here SCD comes this side. Okay, so after we have all the clean data, then we do this segregation and keeping the history and those kind of things, and we do that in gold layer. So after means we use the information from the silver layer, all the source, so we call it source. Okay, so in when we are doing SCD2, we call this layer as source layer, and this layer we divide into factor dimensions. Okay, so here the tables will be. Okay, so here the tables will be, what is happening? Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So here what we were doing was we are going to divide the tables based on fact and dimensions, what we understood so far. I hope it's clear. So this is the stage where we will be using SCD2 in our case. So which one to go ahead with is decided by the team leads also, and depending on the requirements also. Okay, so which way of SCD we are going to handle or we are going to implement is decided by the team lead, or maybe you have this from the business also. So if business says that yes, I want to have information of all the customers from past 10 years, and they want to still want to have some like graph or anything like that, in that scenario you better go ahead with SCD2, right? So far it's clear. So I hope so far it's clear. Then now let's come back to what we understood. So simply talking about, let's see, simple difference is that in first one we do not do any modification. Whatever was inserted first time is the final thing, so there is no history. Here in the second type, we override simply what we did in our SQL courses. Okay. Now in the type 2, what we are going to do, we are going to keep history of the customers. So it can be one record, it can be 10 records, it can be any number of records, but we are going to keep all the records of the customer. Okay. So here, how do we implement? We already checked. We need three things, which is mandatory. Without that, we cannot go ahead. First is surrogate key. Then we have the date columns. There can be any 8 types of columns. And then we have is current, which tells us which is the active row. True. So now this is okay. And then in the third one, what we do, we just keep we create another column like a previous city or something like that, and when we just keep one previous value only, that is this one, and then it again has two limitations which we discussed. Okay, I hope it's clear so far. Okay, this is simply for your revision. Okay, so one more thing. Okay, this is okay. So let's understand what we are going to do. So surrogate key, first let's understand what is surrogate key, and then we'll go back to our syntax and all. Okay. So surrogate key means we keep another key. So one is surrogate key, one is a natural key. Natural key is, for example, if you have a customers table, let's check with an example here. Okay, so for this demo, I have created two tables. I'll be sharing this whole sheet with you. Please don't worry. So what I have done, I just created two tables. Two tables, two tables. Okay, so the two tables are having this structure. So I'll be sharing everything. Please don't worry. Okay, so we have create table and everything. So let's understand what we have here first. So we have the customer ID, customer name, email, city, and segment, and updated it. So this is the customers table that you can see. Yeah. So let me go one by one only. Okay, so this is the customers table that we have. So here we have customer ID, we have customer name, email, city, and those things. So after this is the source customers table. So let's understand this one. So we are talking about this layer. So the table that I showed you just now is from the staging table. Okay, we are assuming like that, and we are taking only three records so that I can show you the exact difference very easily. Okay, so here from the staging table, the table that I created was src underscore okay. So the table that I created was src underscore customers. Okay, so the table that you can see now in the SQL server is a staging table. So let me write here. Okay. So now from staging table, I need to go to, okay, staging table, and this is called silver layer. And from that, I need to go to final tables, which will be gold layer. Yeah. Okay. So now what we are going to do is I need to move my records from staging table to final tables, right? So I need to move from my silver layer to my gold layer. But how that we need to do? So how we need to move? We need to move along with history. Okay. So it also means that we may or may not have any history here. That I'll show you how we are going to handle. And this history will be handled using SCD2. Okay. So SCD2, let's say for example, my team agrees that SCD2 is what we are going ahead with our architecture. In that scenario, I'll be going ahead with SCD2. Hope it's clear. Now the table that I created here, that is this one, so far it doesn't have any data. Okay, it doesn't have any record. Why? I'll tell you. Okay, so it means that I need to insert data into this dim underscore customer from the source table, right? I need to get information from this. I need to use a select query and insert in this table. Okay, so now it means that here the table that is working in my gold layer is dim underscore customers. Yeah. So here I have dim underscore customers. Okay. So these are my two tables. I am only showing one table here. Very easy to understand. You will not have any doubts after this. Okay. So now, yeah. So how do we handle this surrogate key? Let's understand. So let's check the two table structure, then we'll discuss. So this is the below one is the staging, and then we are moving to final table. So if you see here, we have a customer ID here, we have a customer ID here. It means that the same information will be copied from this column to this column. But can you see the customer key? Customer key is actually a surrogate key here. So the customer key is used to actually keep the history. So let's understand what is happening here. Very simple example. So here we'll be having customer key, okay, customer ID and name and what was city, let's say for example. So let's say the customer ID is 1001 and name is, let's say, Amit. And initially that person was in Mumbai. Okay. And then the same customer, Amit, then moved to Bangalore. Okay. And then the same person is moving to, let's say, Mysore. Right? So it means that I cannot have this customer ID as a primary key or primary key, right? I cannot have like this. So it means I need to have some key, which is this one. So this is called surrogate key. So using this surrogate key, now I can handle which will be the unique records here, right? I cannot say my customer will be unique because I'm keeping the history in the same table. So SCD2, it means I need to handle history in the same table with a surrogate key. So what was the requirement? Surrogate key was the first requirement. True. And if this is a surrogate key, what is this called? So this is called a business key, right? A business key or a natural key. So business key means which is being used in the business analytics. So it has some meaning, right? It is having the value from the very initial stage and it has a unique business value here. It means the customer key, customer ID remains the same. Customer key is something which is being added only for this stage. It's not being used anywhere in the analytics. I hope it's clear, right? Now, I understood that I need to have a surrogate key. What was the second thing? Second thing was the dates. Dates means I need to check what was the validity of this. So it means this person, Amit, was staying from when to when. So let's say he was staying, let's simply take an example, 2020 to 2021, no, 21, and then let's say June, and then from July, he moved to Bangalore until 2023, and then from this date, he is still here. So now let's say still here. So we'll give some random date. Okay, maybe till 12 something. Okay, so this we do not know. So can we say that we know that this person Amit was in Mumbai from this year to this year? And can you see the difference? It's just -1. So usually, okay, when we'll work on the examples, you'll be seeing that, let's say for example, this date today is 24th, right? So this will be 23rd of June and this will be 24th. So we'll write a logic such that the validity of the second record is just +1, or let's say it's today, then the validity of previous record will be 1 day minus. Okay, so this way it can be done. So this was the second thing. So it means I need to have a surrogate key. I need to have a valid from and valid to keys, right? And the third thing is what I need to mention, that which data or which record is active. True. So which is the active record? It means I need to use some field to tell me that yes, this was a active record. Is underscore current. So let's say we can use true or false also, or 0 or 1 depending on which database we are using. So let's say this, now I can say that record number which is having customer ID 3 is an active record. True. So this way I can handle SCD2 in any of the tables. I hope it's clear. So there are three mandatory things which we understood: surrogate key and the dates and the field which tells me which is active. Now we'll be implementing this. Okay, we'll be implementing this. We have all the queries properly written. I'll show you each and everything. Okay, let's check if we miss anything. Okay, so it's the same example. You can see the version, it tells the customer key 1 tells me this person was in Mumbai, then this person moved to Bangalore, and then we can have, yeah, the link with the surrogate key. So, okay. So now, as you can see, we are not having this as a primary key. It means the unique key that is in my final stage is surrogate key, right? So the fact table, let's say orders, will be connected to dimension table of the customers with a customer key and not with the customer ID. Okay. It will still have this information. This information still resides here. It's still having customer ID, but how I'm going to map these two tables is using the surrogate key. Okay, and this key is only for my gold layer. We are not going ahead with any other type of keys here. Okay, and this is only for this layer. It's not going to be used in any business analytics. I hope it's clear so far. Okay, so now hash based change detection. So if you all remember one discussion that we did when we were understanding the upsert, right? So this is the upsert one. If you remember, right, we did discuss about upsert, insert and update, right? So what we were doing here, you just focus this part. Just to identify which column is changed, we wrote 3 lines, right? We are comparing a customer from the staging, each and every column from the staging of the customer's table with the same column of the target table. Can you see this one? If you remember this query, what we did, we are comparing each and every column with the staging and target tables. Okay, so it's okay to say that it's not feasible, it's not possible, right? So because in our actual tables, in our actual companies, in the projects, we can have 10 to 15 columns, right? And is it possible to compare and write such query? Not possible, right? It's not possible that I can keep on writing 15 times the same thing, right? Sorry. So now it means I need to find a way by which I can compare the columns. So what I need to compare, let's quickly first understand. Okay, so let me show you one thing. Okay, so let's take an example here that will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so here this is the source table and this is the okay, this is again the source table. So what is happening here, initially I have this source table, again this is the staging table. Okay, now in the staging table you can see I have 3 customers. Initially this was the information, and then what happens, we have copied this to our dim table. Okay, after copying to this dim table, there are some changes which is happening in the staging table. So both the tables are same actually. Okay, so both are showing you the staging table only. Let's say this table was of yesterday, and this is today. Okay, it means yesterday there was 3 columns and now there are 3 records and 4 records. So now let's understand again specifically. Yesterday the person was in Mumbai, then this person moved to Pune. The segment, it means let's say the membership also changed, right? So it means that what I need to write the column, I need to keep on comparing this email, this email, this city, in this segment, this segment. If let's say similarly there are 10 columns, it's not possible for me to keep on comparing each and every columns, and that too multiple times, right? Multiple times in a day. So it means that I need to find a way such that I need to know that there is some changes happening. Okay, so the best option that what we can do is hashing. Hashing means what? Hashing means what we are going to do, we are going to use a hashing method. This is called hashing method. Okay, this is a function, you can say hashing function. Hashing function will be used, and we will be using this hashing function on a group of column data. For example, Amit, email, let's say Amit at gmail.com. Okay, then we have Pune, let's say, and so on and so forth. Okay, it means that what I'll be doing, I'll be getting a hash value from this, and I'll be storing in a new column. So if you note here this one, okay, so if you see this is one extra column, rest are same. Can you see row hash? So row hash is the column where I'll be storing the hash value of this information. It means that today, let's say for example, I have this information. It means I'll be using the data which is changing. Okay, customer ID is not changing. So we need to be cautious enough to understand what columns I'm using for hashing. Let me show you one simple example. Okay, so let's understand this one. Just ignore the query. Let's check this one. So here what we are doing, we are using, this is a function in SQL Server. So we are using hash function, and the method that I'm using is SHA2. This is a hashing function. So this function I'm using, and then what I'm doing, I'm concatenating some information and I'm storing that value somewhere. And where? In the row hash. Let's actually check the query first. Okay, so okay. Okay, so after we have data in the source table, I need to move those data into dim customers table. How I need to do the data? I need to copy something. Okay, first thing is customer key is auto generated. I don't have to give any value for this column. And then I am doing a hashing. Okay, hashing means what? Let's understand quickly. This hashing function that actually gets some input and converts to a fixed data. Okay, it is having a size actually. Okay, it means that let's say for example I pass Amit, then pipe. Why I'm using pipe, I'll tell you. then let's say Pune, then let's say, what was the other information? Email, amit@gmail. Okay. Now let's say I'm getting some 64 character string. This is the output of this hash function. So it means that for this information, my hash is unique. Okay. Now let's say tomorrow, the same person, Amit, moves to Bangalore, and email ID remains the same, or it can change. And then I get some new unique 64 characters. And then I'll compare these two values. And if it doesn't match, it means there is a change. So I can say this is a changed record. Okay, so this way I can understand that yes, something has been changed. So where I'm storing this information? In a row hash column. So row hash column I showed you just now, this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm just getting the concatenation, and then I'm using a function. There are many other functions which we can use for hashing. I'm using this one, and then I'm storing in this row hash. And instead of comparing each columns, later I'll be comparing only the hash of this table and hash of this table. I mean, for each and every record. Okay, now let's understand why we have the pipe. Okay, so it simply means, let's say, again, you have Amit is the name, let's say, B, C, D is the city, and E, F, G is the email. Okay, now this is not same as A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so it means, can you simply understand why it's a difference? These two are two different records, but their hash will come same. Okay, sorry, not the hash will not come same because I'm using pipe here. Okay, because I'm using pipe, if let's say I do not use pipe, I just simply concatenate this one, and the same thing is for this one, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If I'm not using pipe here, this will be same. So they will have the same hash value, which is not solving my purpose. This is not what we want, right? That is the reason I'm using pipe here. So this is just to make things simpler. I'm using pipe here. So pipe actually distinguishes each and every value. And with the pipe, you'll be getting different hash values, right? I hope it's clear so far. No doubt. Any doubt? Okay.
Divya, Anand this side.
हाँ हाँ, या बोलिए.
So this for the one column and multiple column पे अगर हमें update चाहे कुछ भी SCD type 2 करना होगा, वो कैसे होगा हैश से?
नहीं, मल्टीपल कॉलम पे ही हो रहा है. I'll show you. Actually, जब कोड हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, that time I'll show you. So that's what I'm telling you. ये तीन जितने भी columns we are using here, right?
Okay.
How many? Let's say for example 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, got it. Yeah.
So depending how many columns we are using, कोई भी अगर column change होता है, I need to ensure there should be some update. And what update? We don't have to get into these things. We just have to simply just copy that record from source to destination. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
With changing the current this field. So I think it's already 8:30. Do you want me to continue, or do you want to have this session on Saturday? Because we still have many things to work.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Better
Saturday.
to Saturday.
Okay, Saturday, because actually we started late also.
Yes.
Okay, and one more thing I would like to mention that तो आज हम उतना तो नहीं कर पाए. We'll resume on Saturday. right?
Sure.
And I'll be sharing the recordings as well. I'll be sharing the slides as well. Meanwhile, you can go ahead. And one more thing I would like to mention, ki if anyone wants to attend the session on the morning hours, so there are some sessions which are scheduled in the morning for UK and other candidates. So that also you can join if it's this time is inconvenient, right? So that's also okay. If you want, you can ping me separately. Or and one more thing, I will be sharing one document with you. Please go through that document, and that has actually free some of the free websites where you can practice SQL, and they do have their own data set. So data set bhi hai, you just have to go and actually just query. You don't have to create statements and populate the tables, not like that. Tables sabhi bane hue hain. You just have to write your queries and practice. That's it.
Okay. Yeah,
So that also I'll be sharing. And I think that's it for today. I'll update for the Saturday session in the group. Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Yana.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Divya. Thank you,
Thank you.
teams. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi Divya, where is the recording part?
हाँ, recording I'll be sharing in the shared drive.
So the same shared drive or
वही
the
उसी
other
में ही
one?
I'll be creating a folder.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Divya.
Okay. Thanks, yeah. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Bye.